I'll introduce the musicians here now for you. In the middle here, from the Fraser Valley, our guitarist and vocalist, Mr. Marlo Ferris. We've been working together for the last year and a half now. And on the end, surely many of you have come to see him today, one of the greats, a Canadian legend and really one of the major jazz guitarists in North America. We're so honored to have Henry Young here. Henry Young. We're going to get down this first piece here then. It's a short one from Europe. It's called Tai Chi by the Seine. Under gray skies, July muggy, where a breeze starts up from the river. You move slowly in a promenade quay. Last night, the city sat together, talking in warm tones here, dancing in the dark and drinking from the bottle in the thousands. This morning you are alone, heron dancing by the river, just a gardener working early, shoveling earth into planter boxes. Downstream, one barge launches hard to port, ties up while the Massouin chugs past in modern time, hauling sand. Turning softly, turning with the current, the single whip. You shift, marking the tall poplar, and the world revolves too as if the trees themselves were dancing. Green city, eternal city. Now a Sorbonne professor escorts his acolyte, still early. Police car klaxons pass like braying donkeys in the Jardin Luxembourg. You can smell the limestone here, ancient when the hunchback was still a boy. Where blackhead turns skim above the current, sur le pont de Paris. Step lively now. Regard the spattered arteries of Paris, her jeweled architecture, turning, dancing. Raise hands and play the lute. Heading toward the Cathedral, Notre Dame, the motor chug of the river barge grunts like music in 3/4 time, leaving time. Step forward to 7 stars. You can smell the stones again, dusty lime. Now let the breeze brings a little rain. So thank you. This is another poem from France, where my wife and I have taken much pleasure in the past few years with work opportunities that arise there. If you travel outside of Paris to the north and the west a little, there's a small town called Auvers-sur-Oise, and it's the resting place of Vincent van Gogh, the great painter. And if you're like me, you probably thought that he was buried in the deep south near the sunflowers, but that's not the case. He in fact came north to be near his brother, and they're both resting side by side in the cemetery in this small town. And it turns out, after visiting it, that it was a popular spot for the Impressionist painters to get outside of Paris, to take their artwork with them, and they could work as day sketchers because there's a train stop there, and that was it. It's an interesting place, and it's also a very tragic place, Auvers-sur-Oise. Paris in gray rain. After sleeping with the windows open, squabbly streets and chimney pots beyond us outside, again I read about Van Gogh, his yearning for transcendence in a faith where compassion wasn't in the lexicon. We are standing in his room, where love came only as another kind of symbolism. A broken life on bare floorboards, cold seam cracks among the timber beams in bleak light down the road. He rests beside his brother, dead a scant year later. Sugar beet fields and turnips chump the way up the lane, where you turn at the church that he painted not long before the end. Auvers Via Dolorosa. A quarter hour alone here down from the railway station would discourage anyone. Its prodigal chair, rattan, and dull green shades familiar from his pictures. So this was it. The beginning of the end of the end. The raven-haired girl he loved slopes against the wall, rubbing her breast, a small town Madonna beneath the one sliding window, on a new moon that's no moon, only good for drying empty bottles, or an oil painting perhaps. Family downstairs heard the shot. Then came the slow days of his dying, his awkward presence at l'Auberge-Lavaux. What did he say of his mighty vision? It is our acts, our decisions, and our doubts that point to who we are. Success is sometimes the culmination of a whole series of failures. Theo, brother, he wrote, one day I truly believe that I will have a show of my own in a cafe. What next? This is called Fado. These Catholic blues. Fado, the unique Portuguese local music. Fado, these Catholic blues. After the holiness shrine, Fatima, where else is left to go? Alfama's old Moorish quarter, steep hills, stacked limestone houses, soulful Lisbon of the narrow lanes. Now a thick-necked singer in full voice appears, sharp suit, open collar with a voice like a Sunday stroll. Two guitars, Arab, Portuguese, plec, counterpoint, hitting the offbeat high notes, like a zither from Graham Greene's Third Man. Join in central voice, quavering their saudades Catholic soul. The old stars here train the young in the pain, the handwork, fado. Rehearse their parts even during breaks. Simple food, green wine, bread, these Catholic blues, clams, codfish, octopus, pork, clear water. Okay, so moving through Southern Europe, we're coming up to Hydra at the moment, and this is a poem entitled In Homage, Leonard's Son, Hydra. This was where Leonard Cohen lived, that island. I didn't know him, but we had spoken, as they say, and I've always had a tremendous sense. If you weren't here in that time, during the 1960s, really literature in this country was Leonard Cohen. He simply brought back poetry from another place where no one had been aware it had been living. This is In Homage, Leonard's Son, Hydra. Across the wine dark sea, Hydra, blue sky, diamond dappled sea. The island's sharp headland and warlike Sparta to the south. Long stony slopes of Saronic Gulf landfalls. No cars here. Donkeys haul the loads and up the winding steps to his house Welsh. Inevitably, you step into plops. Not to worry. Lemons hang in the trees over walls nearby. Figs ripening early, fragrant orange blossoms and the peerless blue gulf beyond. Touch the stones for luck, for residual transmission of his presence. He was generous that way. When we talk on the phone, he had a voice of doom, gracious, understanding. He was off to Helsinki, he said, always moving, not missing where the waves were breaking. He played a role in more seductions than Elizabeth Taylor. Sharpened his chops here, this Greek Isle, prelude to the Dharma trail that linked us ephemerally, like the sea mist that leaves no scar between Poros and Sparta. Wild penstemon flowers, yellow aster, these lonely, rocky cliffs of love. Epalisto. Thanks for this journey, Leonard's Son. Om Shalom. This next short series of 3 poems are written from Ireland. The first one is from Dublin, and it's called At the Book of Kells. Is made visible on parchment, on flesh of the Lamb. The word made visible for peasants, the rarely washed. Its awesome beauty is born on holy days, paraded for benefit of an unlettered world, unable to read but see this stupendous visitation. For in the beginning, was the Word, and the Word was God. This the farmer and his wife, their children, saw. The Word was God. This they saw in its unutterable beauty of lapis, ground, turquoise, coral, gold, garnets, the colors bold as Mother India's deep southern shrines. Fall on your knees. Sanctus, Sanctus, Sanctus. The parchment word turning darkness into light, leaping to immortality here in the Holy Isle. Okay, deep in the countryside of generic Ireland. We're deep in the countryside now, away from the cities. The closest village will have a couple of hundred people, and the next closest town, 35 or 40 minutes drive, will have 3,000 people. That will be the county capital, Cavan. The Duffs, the Drumlins, are these rolling hills in Ireland that people see in the postcards, the green rolling hills, the lovely healthy cattle and the small whitewashed houses. Not so many thatched roofs anymore, but here and there. So deep in the countryside, we're in a place called Kilcross Duff, what it's like to go back home again. Silver moon, the cattle chuntering, waiting for the gate to the new field. Uncle Terry roams up the dale after a cow's been stuck in a shook, the ditch near the bottom rushes and tall weeds. How it crept under the wire and stranded, gun-running country. 30 cattle and the limousine bull ring in his nose. Hay bales, tractors on back country roads, slate blue sky, clouds in layers, the color of dynamite. Up the road, Tommy Gray's stone quarry lies textured in falling light at almost 11 o'clock the evening. My heart aches at saying goodbye. Slanagus Banap. Dolores, the herd girl, only laughs. Slanagus Banap. This next one is called For the Magdalene Women. One of those terrible stories. We have a big reconciliation project going on here in Canada. In Ireland, they're having to come to terms with some of these difficult stories from the past as well. It was a very poor country until recently, and for young women who might have been having children out of wedlock, the future was very bleak. Numbers of them were taken into what were called the laundries run by some of the religious orders, where they would spend their lives, a great many of them, in very, very difficult and trying circumstances, and the children would be adopted, of course. So the country's beginning to come to terms as the magnitude of these stories keeps coming out. This is called For the Magdalene Women, and we're moving out now into the west of Ireland, out toward the Atlantic, into the wilder places, into the old Gaelic world. In Galway town, for the Salt Hills Road, we rest a while by the Magdalene Women's Stone. Its lines from Patricia Brogan, remembering again the suffering of those mothers impressed into lifelong servitude. A heart scald, still. We step inside the modern airy church adjacent. to find a compact sanctuary, Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal, its marble image framed in soft light, vases of lilies, white, pink, brown stamens in offering. One rare yellow orchid blooms. I think of Ruth amid the alien corn here in the Gaelic world, as a skylight overhead filters summer light. A road nearby leads on to Tiernanog. We travel with the unforgiven laundresses, a fire in our hearts, their lives of repentance grim at the edge of our reckoning. So it was for the fallen women. And our father, as a lad, orphaned to Baileyborough Union Workhouse, its terrors changed little since Oliver Twist. Freighted by memory of those washing stones, of those in bondage, toiling the flax, ahead the road winds to Rossameel, the Arran ferry, where joy arrives with Moran and fiddle, ale, and the sounds of shattered glass. You hear the old balm of the Gaelica. It was meant to be broken. This is a poem from local times. It's called Come, Fish, Come. So we're back from our travels. We're on the Pacific edge here. The word halmoni, it's grandmother in Korean, so it's about fishing times with kids and grandparents. Come, fish, come. Just kind of tuning down a little bit here.
Okay.
Okay. How many fishing times? Family. Only small nibbles and the odd sharp hit. Nothing biting hard. Come, fish, come. We watch our rod tips in meditation, guard in our ears against stiff wind, cotton over rocky Salish Sea headlands, gulls, seals, crab. Offshore, the islands look promising. If we were there, the siren coastline here would invite the same glances. Come, fish, come. We let the small ones go with a prayer, send back big brother, and wait on shiny yellowtails. Bring the afternoon to life. Eagle, gulls, otter. My youngest has already slipped and fallen, her wrist strapped up with cloth and plastic bags. We're here for the duration, no use crying. Come, fish, come. When the fish are running, keep your line in the water. Stick with the hot bait. Heron, eagle, raven. All together in the moment now. Sea trout moving in, even the youngsters landing them. Come, fish, come. Okay. All right. What would poems and music in autumn be without love? This next one is called Tankas in the Pawn Shop, and it's a poem from Hawaii, where our family, my wife and I, have enjoyed visiting for about 30 years now. Tankas are those lovely mandala pictures from Tibetan Buddhism, very ornate very colorful, with religious iconography that draws our attention into the center of the picture. Everything draws us into focusing on the center, where there will always be an image of the Buddha or of one of the great Buddhist saints. So, tankas in the pawn shop. Cloudy Saturday. Eo Valley, peaks, mist swallowed, but no sign, rain. After swimming in salty bay here, no sign, sharks today. 20 lengths shore to dock, then quiet, reading in the shade. Meditating on Our Lady of the Flowers, on fragrant plumeria, orange orchia, the holy Aina. At Wailuku Plate Lunch Shack, beneath shady umbrellas with plenty cold tap water for drink, there's complete east-west lunch enlightenment. Chicken and pork long noodle, mint, bean sprouts, shredded cabbage. Try opaka combo garlic fish, grilled on rice, cocoa, tapioca, or custard flan. Today, try even both. That's the beauty of getting old together. We read in the paper a precious collection of Tibetan tankas unredeemed on offer today at the pawn shop across island, bargain cheap. We look at each other, wistful dharma bums, and shrug, not quite caring enough to drop it all and run after even one more thing. Happy together here, moving Hana side with just enough. It's mushroom picking season. You're probably aware of that right now. People are out there all over the woods, rooting around, picking different kinds of mushrooms, all kinds. This one's called mushroom mirabilis. We like picking the boletus mushrooms, and I really advocate taking a mushroom picking course at one of the local colleges or university before you... Don't try this one at home, kids. That's what we're saying. So, mushroom mirabilis. Picking wild mushrooms is like an auction. Better know what you're after than stick to your plan real tight. Clean your bushes. We were kids strawberry pickers back in '64 when the overlookers roared at us on the farm. Now old shroomsters keep mum about their foresty patch, but share harvest dinners in season. Every autumn, offer dried shroom presents at Christmas. 3 seasons into it, our dogs got pretty good, leading us to bonanza jackpots, firm boletus by the dozen. Some days we just drift on and on, deeper into old growth, to where the giant cedars live. The kids call them Emily's. The Emily Cars. Our dog barges on, keeping an eye out for bear, coyotes, cougar even. It's their neighborhood too. Shrooms are like condos, a pod here, there, then everywhere. Once in a rare while, a single family residence. Knowing zoning codes saves you labor. One day, it's an El Dorado, a carpet of forest mushrooms, fresh and not a worm in town. Oh, nirvana of sweet mushroom taste. Next, it's all tourism. You'll tramp with an empty bag for hours. Red stumps, tiny furs, bare limbs, a late yellow warbler in young cedar. That's all. Higher up the slopes where the space and light are holy, November moss is a sutra. Rarely mushrooms here. But it's good to offer thanks for the swell eats down below. Hail to the poet who knew these fruits, magic, glowing. Remember our childhood picture books? Truly, what food these morsels be. Okay, well, it's 4 o'clock, folks. That's our set. I think we're probably closing down the show here. We have one little short a cappella tune that we traditionally do, Marlo and I. I'll bring it on over here. You probably know this is an old country tune, pretty common through the Celtic world. We all love it.
This is,
Okay, Wild Mountains.
yes. All right. We're doing this together?
Yeah.
All right. Wild Mountain Time. You might know it. Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? I will build my love a tower by yon pure crystal fountain, and on it I will lay all the flowers of the mountain. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? If my true love she were gone, I would surely find another to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go?
Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming. It's been great to have you here. I'd like to thank Marlo Ferris for coming in all the way from the Fraser Valley. Marlo Ferris. And our special guest today, the one and only, there never will be another, Mr. Henry Young on the guitar. I'm Trevor Carolan. Thanks, everybody. We've got to get going. There's another event happening at 5 o'clock, but we'll be in the back there to say hello, and if anybody needs anything signing, be happy to oblige you there. I think we've got a few posts as well from the gig. We'll be happy to do that for you. So thank you all for coming, and God bless. Safe home, everyone. Thank you.